As we journey through life, we all encounter those days when it feels like we're carrying a weight that's not even ours. You know the feeling. Everything seems a little heavier, like an unseen force is pulling at your energy, leaving you feeling drained and off balance. Whether it's the harsh words from a stranger, unresolved tension at work, or even just the subtle envy of someone close. Energy, both positive and negative, affects us in profound ways, and while we might not always see it, this energy has a way of influencing everything around us. Welcome to the Tranquil Mind, where today we're about to unlock an ancient ritual that doesn't just protect you, but actually balances and redirects these energies, giving you control over what comes into your life and what goes out. This ritual isn't about harming anyone or seeking revenge. Instead, it's a way to purify the energies around you, to shield yourself, and to amplify positivity. Imagine this, a single onion, an everyday, humble vegetable that most of us overlook, holds within it the power to neutralize negativity. For centuries, people have used the onion as a symbol of protection, a tool to absorb what doesn't serve them and to reflect back what was directed toward them. Think of the onion as a natural sponge for energy, a mirror reflecting both light and shadow, giving back whatever is sent to you, balanced and amplified. But why the onion? And how does something so ordinary become a powerful tool of transformation? It all comes down to its layers. Just as the onion is made up of countless layers, we, too, carry layers of experiences, emotions, and energies. The onion becomes a powerful metaphor, and not just in Buddhist teachings, for the way energy wraps around us, affecting our core. By embracing this ritual, we are consciously choosing to peel away these layers, to cleanse ourselves, and to restore our natural state of peace and strength. In today's world, it's easy to become entangled in energy that isn't even our own. We pick up on the anger of a driver on the road, the frustration of a colleague, or the jealousy of a friend, often without even realizing it. Over time, this energy sticks, shaping our mood, our outlook, and sometimes even our health. What this ritual offers is a way to reclaim your energy, to send back what doesn't belong to you, and to amplify the good. Now, you might be wondering, can it really be this simple? Just an onion and a ritual? Some may doubt, but energy isn't bound by complexity. In fact, the beauty of this ritual lies in its simplicity, a simplicity that makes it accessible to anyone, anywhere. Today, we'll explore how to channel the power of the onion to protect yourself and bring balance to your life. By the end of this video, you'll understand not only how to perform this ritual, but also why it's such a profound practice rooted in the ancient understanding of karma. So, get comfortable, let your curiosity guide you, and stay with us until the end. This ritual isn't just a quick fix or a gimmick. It's an intentional act that aligns with the very principles of karma, reflecting back to others the energy they send out, good or bad, without judgment. Through this ritual, you're choosing to stand in a space of clarity and peace, a space where you're no longer absorbing what doesn't serve you. You're reclaiming your personal sanctuary. At the Tranquil Mind, we believe that this ritual is more than just a series of steps. It's a way to respect the flow of energy in your life, to acknowledge the intentions of others without letting them interfere with your own balance. If you've ever wanted to create a space of peace around you, where you are not weighed down by invisible forces or other people's intentions, then you're in the right place. Let's discover the transformative power of the onion together and turn your environment into a sanctuary of positivity and protection. Stay tuned as we guide you through each step, sharing the meaning behind every action and the impact it can have on your life. Let's reclaim our energy, amplify the good, and create a ripple of positive intention that can truly change the way we live. One simple ritual at a time. The onion, with its humble, earthy scent and tightly packed layers, has held a place of reverence in cultures around the world for centuries. While many of us see it as nothing more than a kitchen staple, the onion has been a symbol of protection, purification, and mystery, a gateway between the material and the spiritual. In ancient traditions, People saw the onion's layers as more than mere structure. Each layer represented a shield, a protective wrap that held in its core not just flavor, but also energy. This layering was seen as symbolic, a visual reminder of the many dimensions of existence. Just as the onion is guarded by layer after layer, so too are we. We each carry layers of experience, emotion, and energy that shape who we are and how we move through the world. In a sense, the onion mirrors our journey through life. We absorb and carry energy, just as the onion absorbs nutrients from the soil. When people send love, positivity, and joy our way, it nourishes us and adds a layer of lightness. Yet, when negativity surrounds us, be it through envy, anger, or resentment, we feel it, too. Over time, these energies accumulate, weighing us down. And just like the onion, if we don't peel back these layers and cleanse ourselves, the weight can be overwhelming. For Buddhists, purification and cleansing are essential to spiritual health. Buddhist philosophy teaches that everything around us holds energy. Our intentions, thoughts, and even physical objects contain vibrations that affect us deeply, often subtly, but powerfully over time. In this light, an object as simple as an onion can hold profound spiritual significance, especially when approached with intention.
Imagine,
For instance, walking into a temple in Southeast Asia, where incense swirls, the soft chanting of monks fills the air, and the scent of freshly cut onions wafts unexpectedly through the space. Here, it's common to find onions placed in corners or even hanging in bunches. To the untrained eye, it may seem peculiar, but the onion's presence is purposeful. It's believed that the onion's layers, which absorb odors and impurities in cooking, can also absorb negative energies lingering in the environment. Each layer acts as a barrier, intercepting those vibrations and sealing them off. Much like the onion in the ritual we'll explore, let's delve deeper. The layers of the onion, in many ways, resemble the energy layers we build around ourselves. When we feel joyous or safe, our energy layers are smooth, strong, and vibrant. But as we move through life, we inevitably encounter situations or people that chip away at these layers. Someone's harsh words, a friend's jealousy, or even a stranger's resentment can penetrate, leaving dents in our personal shield. We start feeling heavy, burdened by energies that aren't even ours. Much like the onion, which absorbs everything it touches, we too are vulnerable to the energies we allow into our lives. The onion's symbolism becomes even more powerful in this context. When used intentionally, it can act as a spiritual sponge, drawing in the negativity around us and storing it away in its layers. Each cut of the onion can represent a release of something that no longer serves us. It's almost as if we're slicing through the accumulated weights of negativity, allowing ourselves to breathe a little easier. Consider the story of an old woman in a small village, a story told in Buddhist communities as a reminder of the onion's power. This woman, known for her kindness, noticed that as she aged, her energy began to drain. Friends visited her less, and she felt a shadow around her home, a persistent heaviness. She began placing an onion by her doorstep each night, allowing it to absorb the energies from the day. Each morning, she would discard the onion and place a fresh one in its spot. Over time, she noticed a change. The air in her home felt lighter, she laughed more, and friends remarked on how welcoming her home had become once again. This story may sound simple, but it's a potent reminder of the power of ritual and the symbolic nature of everyday objects. In Buddhist thought, there's also the belief that intentions imbue objects with energy. When we approach something as common as an onion with a spirit of respect and intention, it becomes more than just a vegetable. It transforms into a vessel for our intentions, a small piece of the mundane world capable of profound spiritual impact. In the case of the onion ritual, our purpose is to cleanse and protect, to strip away the layers of negativity we've gathered and reveal our truest, lightest selves beneath. Imagine how an onion works in a ritual context. Picture yourself holding it in your hands, knowing that each layer is there to serve you, to protect and cleanse. You feel its weight, its firmness, and understand that, just as the onion carries layer upon layer, you, too, have your own protective layers. Some of these layers are bright and nourishing, while others are worn thin, having absorbed too much over time. As you begin to peel back the onion's layers, visualize the release of old grudges, the dissipating of past hurts. Each layer peeled away represents a lightening of your load, a step closer to peace. There's a natural cycle to this process. We receive energy, we hold it, and then we must release it. In Buddhist purification practices, this concept is fundamental. It's not about permanently holding on to anything good or bad. Instead, we are conduits, meant to let energy flow through us. By using the onion in this way, we honor this cycle. We allow the onion to take on the role of an absorber, taking in what no longer serves us so that we don't have to carry it. The act of cutting the onion becomes a release, a final letting go of what has overstayed its welcome. Interestingly, other cultures also recognize this potent symbolism. In parts of Italy, for instance, onions are hung above doorways to ward off the malocchio, or evil eye, and in ancient Egypt, onions were placed in the tombs of pharaohs to protect them in the afterlife. Across time and geography, the onion's layers have represented a boundary, a threshold that only the pure may cross. In modern times, we're often disconnected from these practices. Yet, when we pause to understand them, we reconnect with a lineage of wisdom that teaches us the importance of protecting our energy. The onion, in this light, becomes a bridge, linking us to ancient practices of mindfulness, of consciously choosing what we allow into our lives and what we release. For Buddhists, purification isn't about separation from the world but engagement with it in a mindful, intentional way. Everyday objects, the onion, a cup of tea, a piece of incense, become symbols of this mindful engagement. They remind us that the material world isn't separate from the spiritual. The onion, placed with intention and used with purpose, becomes a tool of transformation. It allows us to draw boundaries in a way that feels gentle yet powerful. Without harm, just balance. As you hold an onion, see it as a physical manifestation of your intention to protect your energy, to cleanse and purify. In each layer, see your own resilience, your capacity to absorb what life throws at you and yet remain whole. Each layer is an act of strength, a reminder that you are more than the energies you encounter. You are a being of light, surrounded by protection, with the power to release what doesn't serve you. The next time you hold an onion, remember this: its layers are your layers. The strength is your strength. In peeling away each layer, we peel away the unnecessary, returning to our essence. And through this simple yet profound ritual, we honor the ancient wisdom that lies in everyday objects, reminding us that sometimes protection and peace are only a layer away. In Buddhist teachings, karma is a fundamental principle, an idea that speaks to a delicate balance within the universe, where every action we take, whether positive or negative, eventually comes back to us. It's like planting seeds. What we sow, we eventually reap. And just as seeds grow into trees that provide shade or bear fruit, so too do our actions grow and shape the reality we live in. Imagine karma as a ripple in a pond. When you throw a pebble into the water, the ripple expands outward, touching everything in its path. Eventually, those ripples reach the pond's edge and, if you watch closely, you'll see them return to the center, back to the place where the pebble first entered the water. Karma works in much the same way. Our actions, big or small, create ripples that eventually come back to us. It's not about punishment or reward. It's simply the nature of energy, moving in a cycle. The onion ritual we've been exploring fits perfectly into this understanding of karma. When we place our intentions into the onion, whether we're seeking protection or aiming to neutralize negativity, we're not wishing harm upon anyone. Instead, we're aligning ourselves with the natural flow of energy, allowing it to move in its rightful path, away from us if it's harmful, and back to us if it's beneficial. This ritual isn't a weapon or a form of revenge. It's a method to respect the flow of karma, letting it return energies to their origin without interference or malice. To understand karma deeply, let's step into the story of a woman named Claire. Claire was someone who carried a lot on her shoulders, both her own worries and the emotions of those around her. She was the kind of person who could sense when others were troubled and would do anything to help ease their pain. Over the years, she'd encountered her fair share of both kindness and unkindness. People would often take advantage of her generosity, leaving her feeling drained and taken for granted. But Claire, guided by her Buddhist principles, continued to give freely, trusting in the idea that good intentions would one day return to her. One day, Claire found herself in a tough situation. She'd helped a friend, Sarah, through a particularly rough patch, even offering her a place to stay when she had nowhere else to go. But when Claire later found herself struggling financially, Sarah didn't return the favor. In fact, she distanced herself from Claire, leaving her feeling hurt and alone. First, Claire wrestled with feelings of resentment, questioning her own kindness. Why would I help if it's only going to bring me pain? She wondered. But then, she remembered the essence of karma. In Buddhism, karma isn't transactional. It's not a this for that system, where every good deed is rewarded immediately. Instead, karma is more like an invisible thread, weaving our actions, intentions, and the outcomes of our lives together in ways that may not be immediately obvious. Claire reminded herself that helping Sarah came from her own genuine compassion, not from a desire for something in return. And though Sarah hadn't reciprocated, Claire's act of kindness would still have its place in the universe. Months later, Claire's life took an unexpected turn. She was offered a new job opportunity, one that came with a generous salary and benefits she hadn't anticipated. The offer came through a former colleague she had helped years before, someone who never forgot the impact Claire had on his life. This was karma working subtly, not as a direct result of one particular action but as the cumulative energy of Claire's kindness and sincerity, finding its way back to her in a way she never expected. This is the essence of karma. We often don't see it coming or recognize it immediately, yet it quietly follows us, shaping our lives according to the intentions we send out. It's an energy that moves with purpose but without haste, patiently waiting for the right moment to manifest. Let's look at karma through another analogy, one that brings us back to the onion. Just as an onion absorbs the energies in its surroundings, karma absorbs our intentions. Imagine placing an onion in the middle of a garden filled with different plants. Each plant represents an interaction, a choice, a moment. Some plants are beautiful and fragrant, representing our positive actions, while others may be thorny, representing the harm we may have caused, intentionally or unintentionally. The onion, as it absorbs the energies of this environment, doesn't discriminate. It takes in both the good and the bad, storing them within its layers. Over time, these energies shape the onion, just as our actions shape our karma. But unlike the onion, we have the choice to actively shape the energies we put into the world. When we're mindful of our actions, we plant more of those beautiful, fragrant plants and fewer of the thorny ones. By living with intention, kindness, and awareness, we cultivate a garden that's more harmonious, which ultimately creates positive ripples that return to us. The onion ritual, then, is a way of honoring this cycle of karma without disrupting it. When we perform this ritual, we're not seeking revenge or trying to send back harm to others in a malicious way. Instead, we're creating balance. We're allowing the natural flow of energy to continue, recognizing that what is meant for us will return, and what isn't will simply move on, back to its origin. Karma, in its purest form, is about responsibility. We are each responsible for the energy we send out, whether in our thoughts, words, or actions. Every moment is an opportunity to plant the kind of seeds we want to see flourish in our lives. Just as a gardener tends to their plants, we tend to our karma. Some days, We make mistakes. We might act out of anger or frustration, planting thorny plants where we wanted roses. But karma doesn't judge. It simply reflects. It offers us the chance to learn, to tend to our garden more carefully, and to remove what doesn't serve us. Imagine a world where everyone lived with an awareness of karma. People would treat each other with more kindness, patience, and respect, knowing that every action has a ripple effect. A simple smile given to a stranger on a tough day could come back in the form of unexpected help during one's own time of need. A harsh word spoken in anger could return as isolation, reminding us of the power of our words. This understanding of karma is woven into the onion ritual. When we place an onion in our space with the intention of absorbing negative energy, we're creating a boundary. We're saying, "This energy does not serve me," but at the same time, we're not sending it back with bitterness. We're simply allowing it to find its way back naturally. The onion acts as a vessel, a temporary keeper of energy, so we can release it without malice, trusting that the universe will handle the rest. Another story from Buddhist folklore illustrates this principle beautifully. A monk named Jiro once lived in a remote mountain village. Jiro was known for his serenity and kindness. One day, a group of bandits came to the village, taking what they wanted and showing no respect for the villagers. Rather than fight them, Jiro simply offered them tea and treated them with kindness. The bandits laughed at him, mocking his peaceful ways. But Jiro remained calm. After they left, the villagers asked him why he hadn't tried to stop them. Jiro replied, "Their actions are theirs to carry. My peosa es mina." Years later, one of those bandits returned to the village, seeking forgiveness. He had been haunted by guilt, unable to find peace since that day. Jiro welcomed him, offering forgiveness without hesitation. In that moment, the bandit understood the weight of his actions, and he wept, finally freed from his own suffering. Jiro's kindness had created a karmic ripple, one that touched the bandit's heart and brought him back to balance. The onion ritual is a practice that allows us to embody this same principle. We're not holding on to anger or wishing harm upon others. We're merely allowing karma to flow. We place our intentions in the onion, acknowledging the energies around us, and then we let go. The ritual is a way of releasing, of trusting in the cycle of cause and effect, and of respecting the natural balance. Karma, then, isn't about immediate justice or revenge. It's a reminder that every action we take, every word we speak, every thought we entertain, contributes to the energy we carry and the reality we create. And through practices like the onion ritual, we're reminded to handle this energy with care, creating a space in our lives where peace, kindness, and balance can thrive. Selecting an onion for this ritual might seem like a small detail, but in Buddhist teachings, even the smallest decisions carry significance when done with intention. Imagine standing in a market or your kitchen, looking at a basket of onions, and taking a moment to really see them not just as ingredients, but as symbols of protection and purification. The onion you choose becomes a personal talisman, a vessel for your intentions. It represents not only the action you're about to take, but the sincerity with which you approach it. Selecting an onion for this ritual might seem like a small detail, but in Buddhist teachings, even the smallest decisions carry significance when done with intention. Imagine standing in a market or your kitchen, looking at a basket of onions, and taking a moment to really see them not just as ingredients, but as symbols of protection and purification. The onion you choose becomes a personal talisman, a vessel for your intentions. It represents not only the action you're about to take, but the sincerity with which you approach it. In choosing an onion, consider its quality as if you were selecting a trusted friend for a significant task. Look for an onion that's firm, unblemished, and whole. It should feel substantial in your hand, giving a sense of strength and stability. This onion will become a conduit for cleansing, absorbing the energies you no longer wish to carry. By picking an onion with care, you're already engaging in the ritual with respect and purpose, laying the groundwork for what follows. In Buddhist culture, The quality of an object chosen for ritual use is often considered a reflection of the energy and intention brought to the practice. By selecting an onion that is whole and healthy, you're setting the stage for balance and purity. The onion, as a symbol, becomes your partner in this ritual. A small yet powerful guardian ready to shield and cleanse. Think of it as choosing a piece of armor, a protective layer that stands between you and the energies that do not serve you. With your onion chosen, the next step is to prepare the environment. The space where you perform this ritual is as important as the ritual itself. Ideally, find a place where you feel safe, calm, and connected to yourself. This could be a small corner of your home where you can light a candle, a quiet space outdoors, or simply an area that feels comfortable and free of distractions. The environment you create should reflect the intention behind the ritual, a space that holds peace, calmness, and a readiness for renewal. Set the tone with a few simple touches. Light a candle, perhaps, or place a small object nearby that has personal meaning to you, a favorite crystal, a photograph, or a meaningful memento. This helps anchor you in the moment, reminding you that this time is dedicated to something sacred. Many who practice this ritual find it helpful to burn a bit of sage or light incense, allowing the gentle smoke to purify the space as it drifts around them. The light, the scent, the stillness, all of it contributes to a sense of being fully present, of grounding yourself in the here and now. In creating a peaceful environment, you're not only preparing a physical space but also inviting a mental space of calm. Our environments affect us deeply, more than we often realize. When you step into a space of quietude, where every detail is thoughtfully arranged, it becomes easier to let go of the day's stress, to clear your mind, and to open yourself to the ritual with clarity and focus. With your space prepared, it's time to turn inward and set your intentions. This is perhaps the most important part of the ritual. Before you begin, sit quietly for a few moments and take a few deep breaths. Let each breath bring you closer to a state of calm, allowing your thoughts to settle. In this moment, remind yourself of the purpose of this ritual. It is not to send harm or ill will back to others, but to create balance, to cleanse, and to protect your energy. As you breathe, think about the energies that you want to release. Perhaps there's a feeling of tension or unease you've been carrying, or maybe you've felt weighed down by the negativity of others. Acknowledge these feelings, but don't let them dominate your mind. Instead, approach them with compassion and understanding, knowing that they are temporary, like clouds passing through the sky. You're not trying to retaliate, you're simply returning these energies to where they belong, allowing them to flow away from you and dissolve into the universe. This mindset is critical. In Buddhist teachings, the purity of one's intention can transform even the simplest act into something sacred. If you approach this ritual with anger or bitterness, you may unintentionally create a cycle of negativity. But if you approach it with neutrality and a desire for peace, you will find yourself more balanced and uplifted. By aligning your thoughts with compassion, you're ensuring that the energy you put into this ritual will be harmonious and beneficial. With your onion in hand and your mind calm, you're ready to begin. Place the onion in front of you and take a moment to connect with it, feeling its weight and texture. Recognize it as more than just an object. It's a partner in this ritual, a silent guardian ready to take on what you're ready to release. Now, take a knife and make the first cut, slicing the onion in half from top to bottom. As you make this cut, visualize the negative energies you've been holding being released. Feel the weight begin to lift, as though each slice is a step toward clarity and lightness. Remember, you're not directing harm toward anyone. You're simply letting go, allowing these energies to leave your life. After you've cut the onion in half, make another cut to divide it into quarters. Each piece represents a different aspect of the energies around you. Perhaps one piece is the tension from work, another is stress from relationships, another is lingering fear or worry. With each cut, imagine these feelings dissipating, separating from you, no longer part of your personal space. Once the onion is divided, place two of the pieces in a special spot. perhaps near a photograph of yourself or an object of personal significance. This act symbolizes protection and connection, a reminder that you are strengthening your own energy. The other two pieces should be disposed of in nature, ideally buried under a tree or placed on the soil in a garden. By doing this, you're returning the energy to the earth, allowing it to be transformed and neutralized. As you place the onion pieces in their designated spots, take a moment to close your eyes and visualize a protective light surrounding you. Imagine this light as a warm, soft glow, enveloping your entire being. It's a shield, a barrier that repels negativity and draws in positivity. Feel this light grow stronger with each breath, reinforcing your personal energy and fortifying your space. This visualization is a powerful tool. It serves as a reminder that your energy is within your control, that you have the ability to protect yourself and set boundaries. By imagining this light, you're not only enhancing the ritual but also anchoring yourself in a state of mindfulness. You're choosing to hold onto the peace and positivity within you, allowing the onion to absorb what doesn't belong. Many who practice this ritual find that visualization helps them feel lighter and more connected to themselves. It's a way of affirming that, no matter what energies surround you, your inner peace remains unshaken. This ritual is not just about protection, it's about empowerment, a declaration that you have the strength to maintain your own balance. Once the ritual is complete, take a moment to express gratitude. Thank the onion for its role in the ritual. Thank the earth for accepting and transforming the energy you've released. And thank yourself for taking the time to care for your well-being. Gratitude is a powerful practice in Buddhism, seen as a way to amplify positive energy and create a cycle of abundance. By ending the ritual with gratitude, you're closing the practice on a note of positivity, inviting good energies to fill the space you've cleared. In expressing gratitude, you're also acknowledging the interconnectedness of all things. This onion, grown in the soil, nourished by the earth, has now become part of your journey. In burying its pieces in nature, you're returning what no longer serves you to the world, trusting that it will be recycled and transformed. This act of giving back creates a beautiful balance, one that aligns with the Buddhist understanding of karma and the natural flow of energy. After completing the ritual, take some time to reflect on how you feel. Do you feel lighter, more at ease? Are there any lingering thoughts or emotions that surfaced during the process? Reflection allows you to integrate the experience, making it a part of your inner growth. One of the beautiful aspects of this ritual is that it's not a one-time fix. It's a practice that can be repeated whenever you feel the need to cleanse and reset. Just as we regularly clean our homes or take care of our bodies, this ritual offers a way to care for our energy. It's a gentle reminder that, in the same way we release physical clutter, we can also release emotional and energetic clutter. If you choose to make this ritual a regular practice, you'll find that it helps you stay grounded, calm, and connected to your intentions. Over time, it becomes a part of your self-care, a way to honor your own energy and maintain balance in a busy, often chaotic world. For those new to this ritual, here are a few insights to make the practice even more meaningful. Consistency. Like any ritual, consistency enhances its effects. Try performing the onion ritual on a regular schedule, perhaps once a month or during times of transition, such as the full moon. The regularity will strengthen your sense of protection and peace. Mindful breathing. Throughout the ritual, focus on your breath. Deep, mindful breathing helps center you, bringing you fully into the present moment. With each breath, feel yourself grounding, letting go of stress and tension, releasing with compassion. If certain people come to mind as you perform this ritual, remember to release any negativity with compassion. You're not holding on to anger or resentment. You're simply creating a healthy boundary, allowing their energy to return to them without judgment. Personal symbols. Feel free to incorporate symbols that hold personal meaning for you. A small trinket, a piece of cloth, or a specific color can enhance the ritual, making it uniquely yours. Intuitive adjustments. The beauty of this ritual is its adaptability. Trust your intuition and make adjustments as you feel led. If you feel inspired to say a prayer, chant, or add an extra element, go for it. This is your practice, and it should resonate with your heart. The onion ritual, while seemingly simple, is deeply transformative. It's a way to cleanse, protect, and renew, rooted in the understanding that we are all connected through the energies we carry. By performing this ritual with sincerity, mindfulness, and respect, you're taking a powerful step toward honoring your own energy, creating a peaceful space within yourself, and setting boundaries that allow you to live more fully and freely. Every time you engage in this ritual, remember that you're not just releasing, you're also affirming your strength, your clarity, and your commitment to a balanced life. You're choosing to walk a path that honors both yourself and the energies that surround you, embracing the wisdom of letting go while remaining grounded in peace. The concept of the energetic mirror in Buddhism is one that resonates with simple truth. Like a mirror, energy has a way of reflecting back exactly what's given to it, untouched and unaltered. It's as if the universe holds up a mirror to our actions, showing us a direct reflection of what we've put into the world. And just as light reflects off a mirror, our intentions and actions reflect back into our lives, creating a cycle that's as predictable as it is powerful. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, looking deeply into your own eyes. Whatever expression you make, whether it's a smile, a frown, or a look of kindness, comes right back at you. The mirror doesn't add or take away. It simply reflects. This is how energy works, too. If we send out positivity, it returns to us, and if we send out negativity, too makes its way back. The onion ritual we've discussed is rooted in this very idea. When we use the onion to absorb negativity and release it, we're not altering the energy. We're simply allowing it to return to its original source. Like a mirror reflecting light, the energetic mirror effect is best illustrated through stories. Take, for example, the story of a man named Sam who always lived with kindness and generosity. Sam worked at a small bookstore in his hometown, where he had the habit of greeting every customer with a warm smile and a listening ear. He was the type of person who remembered the details about people's lives, their favorite book genres, how their families were doing, or even the little troubles they might mention in passing. Sam wasn't wealthy, and he didn't have much to give in terms of material things, but his kindness left a mark on everyone who came into his store. One day, Sam learned that the store was going to be sold and that he would soon lose his job. For a small-town man like Sam, this was devastating news. He'd spent most of his life at that bookstore, and the idea of leaving felt like losing a part of himself. Word spread through the town, and to Sam's surprise, people began rallying around him. Customers who had been touched by his kindness over the years organized a fundraiser to buy the bookstore so that Sam could continue running it. People contributed as much as they could, each person wanting to give back to someone who had given so much to them. The energy that Sam had put out into the world over the years, through simple acts of kindness and generosity, came back to him just when he needed it most. This is the energetic mirror in action. Sam's story reminds us that kindness has a way of cycling back, sometimes when we least expect it. By being a mirror of compassion and warmth, he created a life that was surrounded by love and support. But the mirror effect doesn't only work with positive energy, it reflects negativity, too. Just as a mirror shows us our smile or our frown, it shows us our anger and resentment. The onion ritual, when used with neutrality, acts as a mirror that reflects energies without altering them, sending them back to their source. The neutrality is key here. We're not wishing harm upon anyone or seeking vengeance. We're simply choosing to let go of energies that don't serve us, allowing them to return naturally to where they originated. Another story helps to illustrate the importance of neutrality in this process. Imagine a woman named Lily, who struggled with feelings of envy toward a coworker. Her coworker, Anna, seemed to excel effortlessly, gaining praise and promotions while Lily felt left behind. First, Lily tried to ignore her feelings, but over time, her envy turned into resentment. She found herself constantly comparing her work to Anna's, feeling bitter with each of Anna's successes. Lily knew that these feelings were eating away at her, so she decided to try the onion ritual. She went into it with the understanding that she wasn't trying to bring harm to Anna, but to free herself from the negativity that had begun to consume her. As she performed the ritual, Lily visualized her envy being absorbed into the onion, layer by layer, allowing her heart to lighten. She reminded herself that this ritual wasn't about returning negativity to Anna. It was about releasing it, letting it find its way back to a neutral state. After completing the ritual, Lily noticed a shift. She began to feel more at peace, less obsessed with comparing herself to Anna. With time, she realized that her resentment had started to dissolve, replaced by a sense of calm. The ritual had acted as an energetic mirror, reflecting back what wasn't hers to carry. By neutralizing the envy, she was able to focus on her own work and goals without the burden of comparison. The mirror effect allowed Lily to let go, restoring balance in her heart and her workplace. Neutrality in the ritual is a compassionate act, not only toward others but toward oneself. By maintaining a neutral stance, we respect the flow of energy without adding to it. We allow it to follow its natural course, trusting that it will return to its origin in the form that it was sent. When we approach the ritual with neutrality, we are not creating a cycle of harm but rather a cycle of balance. In Buddhism, the concept of karma is closely tied to this idea. Karma isn't about punishment or reward but about balance and reciprocity. When we act with kindness, that kindness reverberates back to us. When we act with negativity, that, too, finds its way back. But through practices like the onion ritual, we can choose to cleanse and neutralize these energies, keeping our own hearts clear and light. Consider the story of a young woman named Emily, who always struggled with negative thoughts. She often felt that others were out to get her, and her relationships suffered as a result. One day, her friend introduced her to the onion ritual, encouraging her to use it as a way to release her fears and negative thoughts. Emily decided to give it a try, approaching the ritual with an open mind and a calm heart. She didn't direct her thoughts at anyone specific. Instead, she simply focused on releasing the burden of her own fears and anxieties. After the ritual, Emily noticed an unexpected shift in her relationships. People who had been distant started to reach out more often, and she found herself surrounded by a newfound warmth. By using the onion as a mirror to reflect her own inner peace, she began to experience a change in her external world. The ritual had allowed her to let go of her own negativity, creating space for positivity to enter her life. The beauty of the energetic mirror effect lies in its simplicity. Like a mirror, it reflects without judgment. It doesn't distort or alter what it receives. It merely returns it to its source. When we understand this, we can approach the ritual with a sense of peace, knowing that we're not manipulating or interfering with anyone else's energy. We're simply choosing to maintain our own balance, to keep our hearts clear, and to let go of what doesn't serve us. Through these stories, it becomes clear that the onion ritual is not about revenge or harm. It's a compassionate practice, one that allows us to release energy with neutrality and grace. When we perform the ritual with an open heart, we create a mirror that reflects back exactly what was sent. This understanding empowers us to approach the ritual with love, knowing that we're participating in a natural cycle of reciprocity. In the end, the energetic mirror effect reminds us that we are connected, each action and intention creating a ripple that touches those around us. Through the onion ritual, we have the power to maintain a clear, balanced energy field, reflecting only what we choose to hold. It is a practice of self-care, a way to honor our own energy, and a reminder that, in the vast network of human connections, the energy we send out always finds its way back home. Imagine a woman named Grace. She worked at a small marketing firm in a busy city, where she handled client accounts, met impossible deadlines, and often took on more than her fair share of the work. Grace had always prided herself on her professionalism and her ability to stay calm under pressure. But lately, things had started to feel different. She was beginning to dread going to work each morning, and the sense of tension in the office felt like a thick fog she couldn't escape. There was one colleague in particular, a man named Mark, who seemed to radiate negativity. Whenever he entered the room, felt like the energy shifted, like a chill running down her spine. Mark was always quick to criticize, rarely offering constructive feedback but always pointing out the flaws in Grace's work, often in front of others. Over time, Grace found herself internalizing his words, questioning her abilities, and feeling increasingly inadequate. At home, things weren't much better. Grace was carrying that negativity with her, and it began to seep into her personal life. She felt irritable and short-tempered, even with her closest friends and family. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched and judged, like she was constantly on trial. Sleep became difficult, and when she did manage to rest, her dreams were plagued by scenes of confrontation and conflict. It was as if Mark's negativity had followed her home, settling into her space and refusing to leave. Grace confided in a close friend, Sarah, who listened patiently before suggesting something unusual. "Have you heard of the onion ritual?" Sarah asked. Grace was skeptical at first. How could something as simple as an onion make any difference in her life? But she trusted Sarah, and Sarah spoke with such conviction that Grace decided to give it a try. After all, she thought, couldn't hurt. The next evening, Grace went to the market, choosing an onion with care. As Sarah had instructed, she found one that was round, smooth, and unblemished. Feeling its weight in her hand, this onion, she decided, would be her partner in releasing the negativity she'd been carrying. She brought it home, setting it on her kitchen counter as she began to prepare the space for the ritual. Following Sarah's guidance, Grace created a calm and quiet environment. She dimmed the lights, lit a candle, and took a few deep breaths, letting the stress of the day melt away. She felt a sense of peace begin to settle over her, like a soft blanket wrapping around her shoulders. For the first time in a while, she felt in control of her space, her mind, and her intentions. She picked up the onion and held it in her hands, feeling its coolness and weight. Grace closed her eyes and visualized the negativity she had absorbed at work. The harsh words, the judgment, the tension that had seeped into her every interaction. She imagined all of it being drawn into the onion, layer by layer, each word and critical look finding a place to rest within the onion's protective skin. With the knife, she made the first cut, slicing the onion in half. As she did, she felt an unexpected wave of relief, as though something heavy was being lifted from her shoulders. Grace continued to cut, dividing the onion into quarters, and with each slice, she felt lighter. It was as if she was releasing the negativity from her body, letting go of the thoughts and feelings that had weighed her down for so long. After cutting the onion, she followed the next step in the ritual. She took 2 pieces and placed them near her bedroom window, where the morning sunlight would soon filter through. These pieces, Sarah had explained, would absorb any lingering negativity, preventing it from re-entering her life. The other 2 pieces she carried outside to her small garden, burying them in the earth. As she covered them with soil, she whispered a silent thank you to the onion, the earth, and herself for the chance to release this weight. The days that followed were transformative. Grace felt a noticeable difference. She was sleeping better, and her dreams were no longer filled with conflict. Her mind felt clearer, lighter, and she found herself smiling more, even laughing at things she'd once brushed off. Work was still challenging, and Mark hadn't changed, but his negativity seemed to bounce off her, no longer finding a place to settle. She felt as if she had created a protective shield around herself, one that kept out the energy that didn't serve her. In the weeks that followed, Grace noticed another unexpected change. Her colleagues started to seek her out for advice and support. They began to confide in her, sharing their own frustrations and struggles. And she listened with a calmness she hadn't felt in a long time. She realized that by clearing out her own negativity, she was creating space for positive energy, not just for herself but for others around her. One afternoon, her manager, who rarely engaged with her on a personal level, pulled her aside. "Grace, I don't know what's changed, but I've noticed a new energy in you lately. You're handling everything with such grace and calm. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Grace couldn't help but smile. She thought back to that evening with the onion, the simple act of releasing what no longer served her, and how transformative it had been. In a way, the onion ritual had become more than a one-time cleansing. It was now a reminder of her own power to maintain her inner peace, regardless of the external chaos. Every time she saw an onion, she remembered that evening, the relief she felt with each cut, and the sense of freedom that followed. It was as if the onion had given her permission to let go, to release the energies that didn't belong to her and make space for those that did. Grace continued to perform the ritual every few months. Whenever she felt the weight of negativity building again, it became a practice of self-care, a moment of reflection, a way to reclaim her personal space and energy. She no longer saw the ritual as a cure for her problems, but as a tool, a way to maintain balance, clarity, and peace. Through the onion ritual, Grace learned an invaluable lesson. She couldn't control the negativity of others, but she could control how much of it she allowed into her life. She had the power to draw boundaries, to cleanse her space, and to foster an environment of positivity and resilience. And in doing so, she inspired others around her to do the same. Grace's story reminds us that the onion ritual is more than just a symbolic act. It's a way to honor ourselves, to protect our energy, and to remember that we are worthy of peace. Like an onion, we can shed the layers that weigh us down, one by one, and find strength in our own inner core. Through this simple, mindful practice, Grace found a way to cleanse not only her energy but her spirit, creating a life that was filled with lightness, clarity, and compassion. The power of gratitude is a subtle yet transformative force, like a quiet river that runs deep, constantly shaping the land it touches. It's an energy that not only uplifts the heart but builds a sort of invisible armor around us, protecting us from negativity by filling our lives with light. Imagine gratitude as a shield, a layer of warmth and positivity that surrounds us, making it difficult for negative energies to penetrate. When combined with the onion ritual, this energy of gratitude becomes even stronger, amplifying our intentions and reinforcing our space with peace and resilience. Consider a man named David who had learned about the onion ritual from a close friend. David was a high school teacher, and while he loved his work, he often found himself weighed down by the emotional challenges he absorbed from his students. Many came from difficult backgrounds and brought their struggles into the classroom. David wanted to support them, but over time, he found himself becoming fatigued and even resentful, emotions he was ashamed to admit. The energy he was taking on began to follow him home, casting a shadow over his once joyful space. After learning about the onion ritual, David decided to give it a try, hoping to release the weight he'd been carrying. But he also added something more, an intention of gratitude. Before he even began the ritual, he sat quietly, breathing deeply, and thought about each of his students, acknowledging their struggles and silently expressing gratitude for the opportunity to be a part of their lives. He thought about how they had taught him resilience and patience, and in return, he wished them peace and growth. This moment of gratitude changed the ritual for him. Instead of just letting go of negativity, he was also focusing on the good, amplifying the positive energy in his life. As David went through the steps of the ritual, he found himself feeling lighter, but there was something more, an unexpected sense of warmth and appreciation that filled his heart. In expressing gratitude for his students and his role in their lives, he realized he was building a stronger sense of purpose and joy. The ritual became not only a tool to release negativity but a space for him to reconnect with what he loved about teaching. This positive energy, amplified by gratitude, began to transform his experience. When he returned to the classroom, he noticed a new layer of patience within himself, and even his students seemed more at ease. Sensing the shift in his energy, the impact of gratitude in daily life is profound, and it's not limited to big, life-changing moments. Sometimes, the smallest acts of gratitude have the greatest power. Consider something as simple as expressing thanks in the morning. Thank you for the new day, for the warmth of the sun, for the chance to start fresh. By grounding ourselves in gratitude as soon as we wake up, we set a positive tone for the day, like setting up a gentle current that carries us through the hours ahead. This energy becomes a quiet protection, one that surrounds us with resilience and helps us navigate challenges with grace. Gratitude can be woven into small, everyday practices that enhance our sense of protection and positivity. When combined with the onion ritual, these daily acts of gratitude become even more powerful, amplifying the effects and creating a protective aura that's rooted in love and appreciation. Here are a few examples of small daily practices that can help cultivate this energy. Morning gratitude journaling. Start each day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Could be as simple as the taste of your morning coffee, the sound of birds outside your window, or a loved one's smile. Over time, this practice trains your mind to seek out and focus on the positive aspects of life, naturally building a layer of protection against negativity. When you eventually do the onion ritual, you'll find that your positive energy is already amplified by these moments of appreciation. Mindful thank you moments. Throughout the day, take a moment to say thank you, whether to someone directly or silently to yourself. Could be a thank you for the barista who hands you your coffee, for a friend's text, or for a task you completed. Each thank you is like adding a layer of positive energy around you, building resilience bit by bit. Ending the day with reflection. Before going to bed, take a moment to reflect on the day and acknowledge anything that went well. No matter how small. Did you have a meaningful conversation? Did you handle a tough situation with patience? Reflecting on these moments helps release the day's stresses and reinforces the positive, creating a sense of peace before sleep. Incorporating these daily acts of gratitude into life creates a powerful foundation for the onion ritual. The ritual becomes not just a cleansing process, but a way to amplify and enhance the positive energy you've been building through gratitude. Each time you perform the ritual, it's as though you're layering even more gratitude and positivity into your life, creating an ever stronger shield against negativity. One simple visualization exercise that can help amplify this protective aura is the web of gratitude. Begin by sitting comfortably and closing your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, allowing yourself to settle into a state of calm. As you breathe, imagine a small point of light glowing in your heart. This light represents gratitude. Now, visualize strands of light extending from this point, reaching out to different people, moments, and things in your life for which you're grateful. Picture each strand connecting to someone or something that brings you joy or peace. A family member, a friend, a memory, or even a place that feels like home. Imagine these strands expanding, forming a web of light that surrounds you, each connection reinforcing your protective shield. This web of gratitude not only strengthens your resilience, but also serves as a reminder of all the support and love in your life. As you sit within this web, feel the energy growing warmer and brighter, forming a protective aura around you. With each breath, let this sense of gratitude expand until you're surrounded by a sphere of light that repels any negativity and amplifies positive energy. Visualize this aura as something you carry with you throughout the day, a reminder that you are deeply connected to the goodness in your life. When you eventually perform the onion ritual, this visualization can be part of your preparation, grounding you in positivity and amplifying the protective energy you're creating. Another story that highlights the power of gratitude and positive energy is that of Mia, a single mother who worked long hours to support her 2 children. Life was challenging, and there were days when she felt overwhelmed and exhausted. But Mia had a daily practice that kept her going each night. Before falling asleep, She would close her eyes and silently list everything she was grateful for: her children's health, the roof over their heads, the love they shared, and even small moments of laughter that had brightened her day. One evening, feeling particularly drained, Mia decided to try the onion ritual as a way to release her worries. But before she started, she took a moment to connect with her gratitude practice. She visualized each person in her life who had supported her, from her mother, who would sometimes babysit the kids, to her neighbor, who had once helped her fix her car. She felt the warmth of these connections filling her heart, adding strength to her intention. As she went through the steps of the ritual, Mia noticed an unexpected shift. The gratitude she had carried into the ritual seemed to magnify the energy, creating a sense of calm that she hadn't felt in a long time. The ritual wasn't just cleansing away negativity. It was amplifying the love and support she had in her life, filling her space with a renewed sense of hope and resilience. That night, she slept deeply, feeling surrounded by a cocoon of positive energy. In the days that followed, Mia found herself more at ease, handling challenges with a calm she hadn't felt before. Her children noticed the change, too, sensing the lightness in her energy. By combining gratitude with the ritual, Mia had tapped into a power that went beyond simple cleansing. She had amplified her own inner strength, building a protective aura rooted in love, appreciation, and resilience. Mia's story, like David's, reminds us that gratitude is not just a fleeting feeling but a source of profound strength. When we combine gratitude with practices like the onion ritual, we don't just protect ourselves from negativity, we amplify the positivity we already carry, creating a life that radiates warmth and peace. Through daily acts of gratitude and visualization exercises, we can build a life that not only shields us from harm but draws us closer to the beauty and goodness that surrounds us. In these small, mindful practices, we discover the true power of gratitude. It becomes a force that shapes our lives, our interactions, and even our energy. By practicing gratitude consistently and combining it with rituals of cleansing, we create a life filled with resilience and joy, a life where we are both protected and empowered, surrounded by a radiant aura that echoes our deepest intentions. Energy drains are something we've all experienced at one time or another. Imagine coming home after a long day and feeling as though you've run a marathon. You're not just physically tired, you're mentally and emotionally worn down. Even if nothing particularly challenging happened that day, you feel as if you've been carrying an invisible weight. This is one of the telltale signs of an energy drain, a situation where we've absorbed negative energy from the people and environment around us, and it's quietly eating away at our own. When energy drains affect us, they often show up as fatigue, irritability, and a creeping loss of motivation. First, it may be subtle: a missed workout, a skipped dinner with friends, or a shorter fuse with family. But over time, these small things pile up, until you wake up one day wondering why the joy you used to feel has disappeared, replaced by a sense of heaviness. For some people, it's as if they're constantly on the edge, always one small push away from burnout. And the hardest part? Many don't even realize that they're absorbing and carrying negativity that doesn't belong to them. Take the story of Alice, a young woman who worked in a high-stakes, high-pressure job. Alice loved her career at first. She found purpose in helping clients, problem-solving, and being part of a dynamic team. But as time went on, she noticed a subtle shift. She started feeling unusually tired, even on weekends, and her enthusiasm began to wane. Small issues at work would frustrate her, and she'd come home at the end of the day unable to relax. The turning point came one night when she found herself snapping at her best friend over something trivial, and she barely recognized herself. She realized that something was wrong. After some reflection, Alice came to understand that her energy was being drained. It wasn't just the workload, it was the negativity surrounding her. Her office was filled with gossip, constant complaints, and a relentless pressure to perform. While she tried to stay positive, she was absorbing the stress and tension around her, allowing it to invade her own peace. Recognizing energy drains like Alice's experience is the first step toward addressing them. When we're around people who constantly bring up negativity, whether through complaining, gossip, or anger, we naturally absorb some of that energy. It lingers in us, affecting how we feel, think, and act. Even something as simple as listening to a coworker vent daily can start to sap our energy, leaving us with a sense of fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to cure. But the good news is that there are ways to recognize and prevent these energy drains. The key is awareness and taking intentional steps to protect our energy. Tip 1. Recognizing signs of energy drains. One of the most important skills is learning to recognize when you're experiencing an energy drain. Common signs include chronic fatigue. You feel exhausted even after a full night's sleep, or you wake up feeling tired and depleted. Irritability. Small annoyances feel magnified, and you find yourself snapping at others or feeling angry over trivial things. Loss of motivation. Tasks that once excited you now feel like a burden, and you struggle to find the energy to pursue your passions or hobbies. Mental clutter. Your mind feels foggy, and you have trouble concentrating or making decisions. When Alice identified these signs in her own life, she began to understand the toll that absorbing her workplace's negativity was taking on her. She realized that the frustration, exhaustion, and short temper weren't really her at all. They were signs of the energy she was unknowingly carrying. Tip 2. Setting boundaries to protect your energy. Once you're aware of the signs, the next step is setting boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines we draw to protect ourselves, physically, mentally, and emotionally. When it comes to energy, boundaries help us decide what we're willing to take on and what we're not. Setting boundaries doesn't mean isolating yourself. It's about creating a space where you feel safe and whole. For Alice, this meant limiting the time she spent with negative colleagues. She began to excuse herself from conversations that turned into complaints and found ways to focus on her work without getting drawn into office gossip. She even began taking short walks outside during her breaks to reset her mind, letting nature's calm energy replace the negativity she'd encountered in the office. Another person who experienced the transformative power of boundaries was Marcus, a father of 2 who felt constantly drained by his extended family's issues. Marcus loved his family deeply, but their constant arguments and drama were starting to affect his health. He felt responsible for helping everyone and often found himself caught in the middle of disputes. He finally decided to set boundaries, not by cutting off his family, but by limiting his involvement. He chose specific days to check in, rather than jumping at every call, and gently let his family know that he couldn't always be the mediator. This small shift allowed Marcus to regain his energy, and he found himself feeling happier and more present with his children. Tip 3. Creating daily rituals to recharge and center yourself. Rituals, no matter how small, are powerful tools for clearing and recharging your energy. Simple, consistent practices help us shed the negativity we've accumulated throughout the day, creating a buffer between us and the energy we encounter. One such ritual is a nightly cleanse. Just before going to bed, take a few minutes to sit quietly and visualize releasing any negative energy you might have absorbed. Imagine the day's stress melting away, replaced by a sense of calm. Some people find it helpful to take a quick shower, imagining the water washing away any negativity. This small, intentional act can make a big difference in how you feel. Another powerful practice is gratitude. In the morning, list 3 things you're grateful for. This shifts your energy to a positive frequency right from the start. And as you go through your day, try to maintain an attitude of gratitude, even for small moments. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but rather balancing them by acknowledging the good in your life. When Alice incorporated these practices into her life, she felt more grounded and less affected by her workplace environment. The act of setting boundaries allowed her to navigate her days with a new resilience, and her nightly cleanse helped her sleep better and wake up feeling refreshed. Tip 4. Surrounding yourself with positive influences. Just as we absorb negative energy, we also absorb positive energy. Seek out people and environments that uplift you, This doesn't mean avoiding difficult situations or people altogether. Life often requires us to face challenges, but it's important to balance those encounters with influences that bring joy, peace, and encouragement. Consider the story of Sophia, a young artist who felt drained and uninspired after moving to a new city. She knew few people and often found herself in social situations that left her feeling depleted. Then one day, she met a group of like-minded creatives who were passionate, encouraging, and supportive. Spending time with these friends reignited her creativity, and she felt a renewed energy that she hadn't experienced in years. By surrounding herself with positive influences, Sophia was able to restore her sense of purpose and enthusiasm. Sophia also made it a point to cultivate positivity in her home. She added plants, soft lighting, and art that inspired her, turning her apartment into a sanctuary. She realized that the energy in her home was something she could control, and by making it a space of warmth and beauty, she had a place to recharge whenever she felt drained. Tip 5. Practicing self-compassion and letting go of guilt. For many people, saying no or setting boundaries feels uncomfortable. They worry about disappointing others or appearing selfish. But self-compassion is essential for protecting your energy. It's okay to prioritize your well-being, and it's okay to let go of guilt when you need to set limits. Marcus, for instance, initially felt guilty about pulling back from family conflicts. He'd always been the peacekeeper, and he worried that he was abandoning his loved ones. But over time, he learned that his well-being was just as important as theirs. By setting boundaries, he was actually able to show up more fully for his family when it mattered, because he wasn't worn down by constant stress. Likewise, Alice had to overcome her guilt about stepping back from her colleagues. She worried that they would see her as unsupportive. But once she realized the impact it was having on her mental health, she made peace with her decision, understanding that sometimes the most compassionate choice is to protect her own energy. Energy drains may be an inevitable part of life, but they don't have to control us. By recognizing the signs, setting healthy boundaries, creating daily rituals, surrounding ourselves with positive influences, and practicing self-compassion, we can maintain our well-being, even in challenging environments. Alice, Marcus, and Sophia's stories remind us that protecting our energy is not only possible but necessary for living a balanced, fulfilling life. These practices serve as gentle reminders that we are worthy of peace and joy, and that we have the power to create an environment where our energy remains intact. Through mindfulness and intentional action, we can release the weight that doesn't belong to us, making space for the lightness, clarity, and vitality that are truly ours. The environment we live in is a reflection of our inner world. And for those of us who are sensitive to energy, it becomes even more important to create a space that feels safe, calm, and rejuvenating. When our surroundings are cluttered, chaotic, or stagnant, they can contribute to energy buildup, creating a weight that affects both our mood and mental clarity. But when we put effort into maintaining a space that feels fresh, intentional, and orderly, can act as a sanctuary, a place where we can recharge and feel truly at peace. Consider the story of Emma, a woman whose life was filled with responsibilities. She worked a full-time job, cared for her young children, and had little time left over for herself. Her days were so busy that she rarely noticed the gradual accumulation of clutter in her home. The piles of mail on the counter, laundry that never quite made it to the closet, and random items that seemed to take over every available surface. Over time, Emma began to feel an underlying stress, an anxiousness she couldn't quite explain. She thought it was just part of the busy life she led. One evening, after an exhausting day, Emma walked into her bedroom and saw her reflection in the mirror. Tired, overwhelmed, and surrounded by the clutter she hadn't had the energy to address. In that moment, she realized her environment was contributing to her stress. The disarray in her space mirrored the disarray she felt inside, and it was draining her energy without her even knowing it. The next weekend, Emma decided to make a change. She started with her bedroom, which she considered her most personal space, the place where she needed to feel relaxed and calm. She spent the entire Saturday clearing out things she didn't need, folding clothes, organizing drawers, and dusting surfaces. As she worked, she began to feel a sense of lightness, as though she was physically and mentally shedding layers of stress with each item she cleared away. She placed a small candle on her nightstand, and as a final touch, she brought in a lavender plant, hoping its calming scent would add to the tranquility of her space. The transformation was almost immediate. That night, when she entered her room, Emma felt an unfamiliar sense of peace. The space was no longer just a room. It felt like a sanctuary, a place where she could breathe and release the day's stress. Over the next week, she noticed herself looking forward to bedtime, knowing that she had created a space that welcomed rest and relaxation. Her sleep improved, her mood lightened, and she found herself waking up each morning with a little more energy than before. Emma's story highlights the power of an organized, clean space. When we take the time to declutter and arrange our surroundings, we're not just tidying up, we're setting an intention, creating a physical environment that supports mental clarity and emotional well-being. There's something almost magical about walking into a space that feels fresh and aligned, a reminder that our surroundings can either drain us or uplift us. Regularly cleansing your space is an extension of this practice. Just as we might brush away dust from a shelf or shake out a rug, we also need to cleanse the invisible energy that can accumulate in our spaces. Stagnant energy builds up over time, especially in areas where we spend a lot of time, like our bedrooms, living rooms, or workspaces. This stagnant energy can create feelings of heaviness or anxiety, often without us realizing why. But by setting aside time to clear it, we can prevent that buildup from affecting our mood and peace. An effective way to cleanse your space is by using candles or incense. The flicker of a candle's flame adds a warm and purifying energy to any room, subtly shifting the space into a calm, comforting place. For many people, lighting a candle signifies a fresh start or a time to unwind. Similarly, incense, when burned with intention, can help clear away negative energy, filling the room with a scent that enhances the atmosphere. Different scents bring different energies: lavender for calm, sage for purification, or sandalwood for grounding. Another favorite method is the use of fresh plants. Adding a living element to your space not only beautifies it, but also brings an energy that is vibrant, soothing, and revitalizing. Plants act like natural purifiers, absorbing toxins and producing oxygen, helping you feel more connected to nature even when indoors. Beyond their physical benefits, they offer a gentle reminder of growth, resilience, and life. One man, Lucas, experienced this firsthand. Lucas was a graphic designer who worked from home, spending long hours in front of his computer. His home office was a functional space but far from inspiring. There were papers everywhere, cables snaking across the floor, and a coffee mug or two sitting forgotten on his desk. After a particularly stressful week, he realized he was no longer enjoying his work, and his creativity felt stifled. He noticed that his once productive workspace had become a source of stress. Taking inspiration from a friend, Lucas decided to turn his workspace into a place that felt alive and comforting. He started by decluttering his desk, organizing his materials, and investing in a few small items to personalize the space. But what really made a difference was adding plants, a small snake plant and a pothose with cascading leaves. He placed them where he could easily see them as he worked, and over time, he noticed a shift. The green of the leaves added life to his desk, and the plant's presence seemed to create a natural, calming atmosphere. Lucas found himself more focused, less stressed, and, to his surprise, even more creative. Lucas's story shows how a few intentional changes can transform a space from a source of stress into a source of inspiration. By creating an environment that nurtures rather than depletes, we set ourselves up to thrive. Both mentally and emotionally, our spaces become allies, encouraging clarity, focus, and well-being. reminding us that we are worthy of a peaceful, positive place to live and work. One simple habit to maintain this environment is what many call the 5-minute cleanup. Before bed each night or before starting work each day, spend just 5 minutes tidying up. Clear off surfaces, put away stray items, and arrange things in a way that feels inviting. This small act can prevent clutter from accumulating and helps maintain the positive energy in your space. You'll wake up or sit down to work in a place that feels fresh, organized, and aligned with your intentions. There are also days when you might feel an intuitive need for a deeper cleanse. On those days, open the windows wide and let fresh air flow through your home. This simple act of inviting in the outside air can shift the energy in a room, refreshing the atmosphere, paired with lighting a candle or burning a stick of sage. This creates a ritual of renewal, a time to reset both the space and yourself. When we pay attention to our environment and make choices that uplift us, we create a space that supports every other aspect of our lives. It's a practice of mindfulness, choosing the colors, scents, and objects that resonate with us and intentionally arranging them in a way that brings calm and joy. Our environment, once a neutral backdrop, becomes an active participant in our well-being. Emma and Lucas's stories are reminders that maintaining an organized, positive space doesn't require grand gestures or expensive renovations. Sometimes, it's as simple as lighting a candle, adding a plant, or clearing a countertop. By paying attention to our surroundings and making small, intentional changes, we can create spaces that bring peace, clarity, and lightness into our daily lives. Our spaces, just like our hearts and minds, benefit from care and intention when we make it a priority to maintain an organized and cleansed environment. We're not only protecting our energy but also inviting positivity, creativity, and peace into our lives. It's a practice of self-respect, a reminder that we deserve to live in a space that nourishes us, that uplifts us, and that helps us face each day with a sense of calm and purpose. Gratitude and forgiveness are two sides of the same coin, working together to create a balanced, peaceful, and high-vibrational life. When practiced regularly, they become powerful tools that not only protect us from negativity but elevate us, helping us approach the world with compassion and clarity. Just as the onion ritual clears away unwanted energies, gratitude and forgiveness maintain a steady, positive flow, shielding us from the draining effects of resentment or dissatisfaction. Consider the story of Lily, a woman who struggled with holding on to grudges. She'd been hurt by people close to her, friends who had broken promises, family members who had judged her, and a former partner who'd left her feeling abandoned. Each of these memories lingered in her heart like shadows, and though she tried to move forward, she could never quite shake the pain. She carried these burdens with her, and over time, they began to weigh her down, affecting her mood and perspective. It was as if each unresolved hurt had left a stain, a cloud that dimmed her natural warmth and joy. One day, a friend suggested she try practicing forgiveness as a way to heal. At first, Lily resisted. She thought forgiveness meant excusing the actions that had hurt her or allowing those people back into her life. But the more she read about forgiveness, the more she began to understand that it wasn't about others. It was about freeing herself. She learned that forgiveness didn't mean condoning the actions. It simply meant choosing not to carry the bitterness any longer. It was about releasing herself from the grip of the past so that she could move forward unburdened. Lily decided to make forgiveness a daily practice, almost like a ritual. Each evening, she would sit quietly, reflect on any lingering hurts, and consciously choose to let go. Some days, it was easier than others, but over time, she began to feel lighter. The weight she'd been carrying for years gradually lifted, and she noticed a newfound clarity in her thoughts. With each act of forgiveness, it was as though she was clearing away the layers of resentment that had built up, allowing her heart to shine more brightly. She realized that forgiveness was not a one-time event. It was an ongoing journey, a practice she could return to whenever old wounds surfaced. As Lily embraced this practice, she discovered that she had more room in her heart for gratitude. Forgiveness created space, and gratitude filled it. She began to see beauty in everyday moments, the kindness of a stranger, the laughter shared with a friend, the comfort of a quiet evening. Her perspective shifted, and she started each morning with a sense of appreciation for the simple blessings that colored her life. This gratitude became a source of strength, an invisible shield that protected her from negativity. She no longer felt easily hurt or affected by others' opinions because her heart was rooted in peace and abundance. Forgiveness, in essence, is a protective act. It doesn't erase what happened, but it breaks the hold that past hurts have over us. When we let go of resentment, we free ourselves from an ongoing cycle of pain, making space for healing and positivity to take root. And when combined with gratitude, this practice becomes even more powerful. It's like tending a garden. Forgiveness clears away the weeds, and gratitude plants the flowers. One day, Lily decided to create a gratitude ritual to deepen her practice. She set aside a small journal by her bedside and committed to writing down 3 things she was grateful for each night. First, the list was simple things like her health, her home, and her friends. But as she continued, she found herself noticing the smaller details of life, the smell of morning coffee, the warmth of sunlight through her window, the feeling of a soft blanket. Her gratitude practice became a way to end each day on a positive note. No matter what had happened, it reminded her of the beauty and abundance in her life, grounding her in positivity and keeping her focus on what truly mattered. This ritual had an unexpected benefit. It also became a tool for protection. By regularly focusing on gratitude, Lily built a layer of resilience. When negative situations arose, she could more easily brush them off, returning her focus to the good things that surrounded her. Her daily practice of gratitude and forgiveness created a high vibrational frequency that naturally repelled negativity. Just as the onion ritual protected her space from absorbing harmful energies, her gratitude and forgiveness practice protected her spirit, allowing her to walk through life with peace. In many ways, Lily's story mirrors the wisdom found in ancient fables. There is a well-known tale about a wise old monk and a bitter traveler. The traveler, carrying years of resentment, visited the monk and poured out his complaints about life, blaming others for his misfortunes. He asked the monk how he could find peace. In response, the monk handed him a cup of water and a handful of salt. "Pour the salt into the cup and drink," the monk said. The traveler did so, grimacing at the bitterness. Then the monk led the traveler to a nearby lake. "Now pour the same amount of salt into the lake," he instructed. The traveler did, and the monk asked him to drink again, this time from the lake. The traveler tasted the water, surprised that it was fresh. "Bitterness is like the salt," the monk explained. "It is only as intense as the space in which we hold it. Expand your heart like the lake, and life's bitterness will have no place to settle." The story of the monk and the traveler is a reminder that forgiveness is not about erasing bitterness, but about giving it a larger space to dissolve. When we expand our hearts with forgiveness, life's slights and hardships lose their power to harm us. And when we add gratitude, we turn our hearts into a vast lake, filled with love, peace, and resilience. For those who are inspired by Lily's story, here's a simple way to create a gratitude ritual alongside the onion ritual, helping to create a more balanced approach to spiritual protection. Start with a forgiveness meditation. Set aside a few minutes each evening to reflect on any grievances or frustrations from the day. Allow yourself to acknowledge these feelings without judgment. Then, visualize them gently floating away, like leaves carried by a river. You don't need to solve or forget these hurts. Simply release them, making room for peace. Write in a gratitude journal. After your forgiveness meditation, take a moment to write down 3 things you're grateful for. These can be big or small, anything that brought you comfort, joy, or a sense of peace. Over time, this practice will train your mind to focus on positivity, creating a protective aura that naturally repels negativity. Practice visualization. Each morning, Before you start your day, close your eyes and visualize yourself surrounded by a warm, protective light. Imagine that this light is fueled by the gratitude in your heart, growing stronger with each moment of appreciation. This light acts as a shield, keeping negativity at bay while inviting love, joy, and peace into your life. By combining forgiveness, gratitude, and the onion ritual, we create a holistic approach to maintaining a balanced, protected spirit. Forgiveness clears away the heaviness of resentment. Gratitude fills our lives with light, and the onion ritual cleanses our space, ensuring that we remain grounded and whole. These practices are not a one-time fix. They're ongoing journeys that support us in living our lives with peace and positivity. As we let go of grudges and open our hearts to gratitude, we transform ourselves from within, creating a life that's rich in joy, resilience, and freedom. As we reach the end of this journey, let's take a moment to truly appreciate the simple yet profound power of these practices. The onion ritual, with its roots in ancient wisdom, is more than just a method to clear negativity. It's a tool to cultivate inner harmony and resilience. Through it, we've learned that cleansing our energy doesn't just protect us. It gives us the freedom to focus on what really matters: our growth, our dreams, and the connections that uplift and inspire us. In life, we're often surrounded by noise, thoughts, stresses, and influences that try to pull us away from our path. But when we make the conscious choice to clear away the negativity, to forgive, and to express gratitude, we're making room for the things that nurture our souls. These practices remind us to step back from the chaos and reconnect with our own center. They teach us to create space for positivity, to anchor ourselves in love, and to embrace life with open hearts. The onion ritual is just one part of this journey, a way to clear our environment and reset our energy. But what gives it true power is our intention. When we approach it with gratitude and mindfulness, it becomes more than a ritual. It becomes a commitment to living with purpose, peace, and joy. And as we carry forward the lessons of gratitude and forgiveness, we realize that these energies are the ultimate protectors. They are the shields we wear, not to guard us from the world, but to transform how we walk through it. Let gratitude become the lens through which you see the world. It doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as taking a moment each morning to thank the universe for a new day, or whispering words of appreciation for the people and experiences that bring you joy. Gratitude roots us in the present and reminds us of all that is good. It grounds us in positivity, creating a natural defense against negativity by filling us with light. When we live with a grateful heart, we invite more of what we value into our lives: more love, more connection, more peace. And just as gratitude opens us up, forgiveness frees us. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing harm or allowing toxic people back into our lives. It means choosing not to carry the pain any longer. It's about releasing ourselves from the hold of past hurts and letting go of what no longer serves us. Through forgiveness, we're choosing to rise above resentment, to live in a space of love and understanding. This is true freedom, the power to move forward unburdened, to face the world with compassion rather than bitterness. Imagine how different life could be if we all practiced these things daily. If every day we took a few moments to clear our space, express gratitude, and let go of past hurts, we'd be creating lives filled with light, joy, and resilience. We'd be building communities that uplift each other, relationships that bring warmth, and a world that feels just a little more kind. As you go forward, I invite you to make these practices a part of your journey. Let the onion ritual be a regular reminder to keep your space and energy clean. Let gratitude be the anchor that holds you steady through life's storms. Let forgiveness be the wind that carries you toward peace and fulfillment. Together, these practices form a foundation for a life that's not only protected but empowered. A life where you're free to focus on what brings you joy, on the dreams you're passionate about, and on the people who fill your heart. Embrace this journey with love and openness. Make each day a fresh start, filled with positive intentions and gratitude. Remember that peace begins within, and it grows with each act of kindness. each moment of gratitude, and each decision to let go of resentment. You have the power to create a life of harmony, to build a sanctuary of calm in a world that's often anything but. And as you do, you're not only transforming your own life, you're sharing that peace with everyone you meet. At the Tranquil Mind, we believe in the power of simple practices to change lives. We believe in living with purpose, in finding beauty in small moments, and in cultivating inner peace as the foundation for all things. If this journey has resonated with you, we invite you to take these practices to heart, make them your own, share them with others, and let them become part of the light you bring to the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey of peace and positivity. May you carry forward these lessons with grace. May you live with a heart full of gratitude, and may you walk through life with the strength of forgiveness. Embrace the power within you to create change, not just for yourself but for everyone around you. Let this be the beginning of a life that radiates peace, compassion, and joy. And if you've found this message meaningful, please share it with others. Together, we can spread the wisdom of living with light and peace, making the world a little brighter with each heart we touch. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for choosing to walk this path with us at the Tranquil Mind.